Welcome back to the 1% Mind. Over the entirety of Phase 2, we have systematically dismantled the psychological programming that keeps the middle class broke. You have built an elite mindset. Today, we bridge the gap by translating that mindset into a tangible, mathematically uncompromising reality. Imagine sitting at your desk on a Sunday afternoon. You have 7 browser tabs open. You are checking the fluctuating volatility of a cryptocurrency app, manually transferring $2,000 to savings, typing in credit card numbers to pay utilities, and painstakingly logging the cost of a dinner from 3 nights ago into a spreadsheet. Every manual financial choice burns a measurable amount of glucose. Your prefrontal cortex has a finite battery life. When you debate whether to transfer $500 to an investment account today or next week, you force your brain to process massive variables. This triggers your loss aversion and a sense of scarcity panic. Even if you successfully make that transfer, you pay a heavy tax in cognitive bandwidth. You spend 2 hours on financial gymnastics, leaving you with less energy to write code, design a marketing strategy, or lead your team. Obsessively micromanaging every penny represents a critical system failure. You have generated the capital, but acting as the manual administrator of your money turns you into the human bottleneck of your own empire. Managing money manually is like trying to run a massive digital content library by typing unique metadata for every single file. The system will eventually collapse under the weight of its own friction, and you will burn out. Digital empires scale through standardized architecture. You create a universal system of categories once, and the software applies it automatically across thousands of assets. This structure allows the assets to perform and scale independent of your daily effort. Your financial life requires the same rigorous standardization. You must fire yourself from the role of financial administrator and promote yourself to financial architect. An architect designs the blueprint, builds the machine, and turns it on. To reach this state of sovereignty, we implement the 3-tier automated wealth architecture. This framework captures your income and scales your capital without requiring daily willpower. A fundamental law of systems design states that any system relying on human mood or memory is mathematically guaranteed to fail. True wealth requires absolute, emotionless automation. Tier 1 is the entry point. This is the primary holding account where your active salary or business revenue enters the ecosystem. Most people allow their money to pool in one central checking account. They look at that large number, feel wealthy, and start spending. They pay the landlord, the restaurants, and luxury brands first, leaving only tiny scraps for their future self. Our automated waterfall system routes money into designated buckets within 24 hours. First, 20% is ripped out and transferred to your investment vehicle for your future self. Second, fixed expenses move into an operations account, auto-paying survival logistics in the background. What remains in the primary account is your guilt-free consumption capital. Because your future is funded and survival secured, you can spend this remainder with absolute freedom. This routing engine functions as a physical Ulysses contract. You are tying yourself to the mast. Lifestyle creep becomes mathematically impossible because that investment capital does not exist in your accessible reality. Tier 2 is your defensive fortress. This is where your liquid emergency capital must be stored. Keeping emergency savings in the same institution as your checking account is a massive liability. Constantly viewing a large pile of cash activates the Diderot effect. Your brain begins to view that emergency fund as available capital for a new television, justifying it as a loan to yourself that you will never pay back. You must build this fortress at a separate, highly inconvenient banking institution. You need psychological distance from these funds. Introduce painful friction into the withdrawal process. Refuse a debit card and ensure that transferring the money back to your checking account takes 3 to 5 business days. Hiding the fortress and making it annoying to access neutralizes the temptation to raid it. It sits there silently, providing the psychological armor needed to take asymmetric risks in your career. Now we reach the pinnacle, Tier 3, the growth engine. This is where capital permanently decouples from your biological timeline. Modern media sells the idea that investing should be exciting, but day trading functions as a high-stress, symmetric job rather than a true investment strategy. You are still trading your finite time for a volatile outcome. Effective wealth generation is incredibly, agonizingly boring. While your creative pursuit should be exciting, Your financial investments should be as devoid of emotion as a concrete pillar. Deploy your routed capital into broad, diversified, low-cost index funds or automated real estate portfolios. Once the automation is set, the hardest instruction is to do absolutely nothing. You do not check the balance. When the market crashes, you let the automated scripts continue to buy assets at a massive discount. This state of sweatless yield transmutes your biological labor into an immortal compounding force that works relentlessly while you sleep. The 1% architect wakes up in sovereign peace. Because the architecture handles the logistics, 100% of their cognitive RAM is freed for deep, high-leverage creation. Across Phase 2, we built an indestructible mental fortress. We defeated the status game, severed sunk costs, and mastered expected value. We unlocked infinite leverage, froze our baseline, destroyed the scarcity illusion, and defeated the hyperbolic discount curve. Today, we translated those psychological principles into a physical, automated system. Your psychology is optimized, and your financial machine is self-sustaining. We are now crossing the threshold into Phase 3, the mastery of sovereignty. We will detach from societal matrices, master information asymmetry, and lead without seeking permission. If this masterclass provided the structural framework to reclaim your cognitive bandwidth, hit the like button. Subscribe and click the notification bell to enter Phase 3. Stop managing your money. Start architecting your empire. I will see you in